Hey y'all, welcome to Soulish.
Where we talk about soul shit.
I'm Larissa.
And my name is Francesca. And today we're going to be talking about humility and allowing people to have their moment, allowing people to shine in their successes without getting jealous or without getting in the way of their moment.
Yeah, I think something that pops up a lot, especially, during this time, everyone is going through their own motions, their own waves. Some people have the ability to still be doing really, really well. Some people, are in the predicament. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Some people aren't doing, what I guess they would say they want to do, what they're able to do, financial, school-wise. There's just so many ways that we kind of interact with each other that I don't think necessarily everyone is aware of. And like Francesca said, just being aware of letting people have their moments, even if they're just tiny, if they're, I don't know, let's say someone, got into the next season of a new point in their life and they're like, oh, I'm really excited about this. Let them have it. Everyone's coming up on the new year, 2021. Y'all still better have your goals. It's a new year. And it's really important to just kind of continue going on that path of, carving out your future, like still making and celebrating your like little successes. I think that's important. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that in my life, I met this woman a while back, and she was definitely the most loving person I ever met. She was very into mentoring younger girls, and the way that she celebrated each of their moments was such an inspiration to me. Mm-hmm. So I really learned a lot from her and understanding that, if someone gets a compliment, that doesn't mean that you're any less. That doesn't mean that you're not doing what they're doing. It just means that this is their moment. And everybody has a chance in their life to shine. And I think that sometimes we're just like, well, I didn't get that compliment, or how come you never say this about me? And it's one of those things where you have to sit back, you have to sit down and let the other person have their time, because it's not always about us. It's about us growing together, and growing together means that everybody has to have their moment, and we should celebrate and support one another in those successes in life. And if we want to tear each other down or get jealous about it or feel very insecure, then it really doesn't do anything for the community, and it doesn't do anything for ourselves, for our personal growth, nor does it help another person's growth. So
yeah, I definitely agree with that. Definitely hitting that, very squarely on the head, because it's really important to also like recognize those things. I don't think a lot of the times people, like you said, like fully recognize like it's just a moment. Mm-hmm. I think one of the big revelations and where I can speak on highly is like, for myself, like I had to realize I'm a on the go kind of gal. I always am doing something, looking for something productive to do, looking after my own successes, wanting other people to celebrate their successes. But I also have to in turn take that step back and be like, whoa, did I actually like celebrate that moment of this is actual growth, or did I just like tick it off my box? Because there's a big difference, especially for me now, realizing that of not just success, but just having that awareness is, am I just doing everything, I guess it would be for clout, but but I don't really care in that aspect. But, it's not about just having those little moments to only be like, okay, I just want to get fully, I don't know, excited or be reveled in my moment and just like not really think about what else is going on in like the universe. You want to have those moments, but like truly be grateful for them rather than just, I'm here, I did it, I want some recognition now, if that makes sense.
Yeah, right off of what you said about recognition, because that was actually the word that was on my mind as you were talking. I think that sometimes the reason why we get upset about someone else's success, or it may not be when I can talk. It may not be someone else's success. It may just be something that someone naturally does very well. I think that after I remember, I think that I forgot.
I think that see, that's what I love about Francesca.
Yeah.
She just goes, and then
We're on
she's
track
like,
again. Yeah,
I remember.
Yeah, and just kidding. Anyways, so oh my gosh, don't tell me I forgot again. I didn't. We remember. Oh, self-recognition. The reason why we don't, well, I think this is my personal opinion, part of the reason why we don't get super excited about someone else's success, or we get a little jealous, is because we're not recognizing ourselves. You know, it works the same way with self-love, right? If you can't love yourself, then loving other people is hard. Other people loving you is hard. And it's the same with self-recognition. You have to recognize yourself so that you don't feel like you need that from other people. You have to fill that own void for yourself. And that's with peace. As I said, that's like with self-love and pretty much everything in life.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a big topic too, is like, especially right now, the feeling of inadequacy. I don't know that, for me personally, if I really have like reveled in that yet, actually, because there's so many things that I wanted to accomplish, you know, in the year 2020, and a lot of mess happened. we're going through a lot as, you know, a people, multiple facets. Not going to get into that in this video, but it's really kind of extreme to some levels that you have to think about an all-encompassing feeling of, oh, how should I move forward in this moment? How should I adapt to this time? How should I adapt to these successes? How should I adapt to this relevance? How should I adapt to being able to communicate, share with other people, myself included, have that peace, have that love, have that acceptance? Like, there's just so many levels right now that I think are really important to kind of go through and recognize. And I think that's something that we're both doing. Like today was a day for us where, you know, we face masking, we're girl talking.
Yes.
We had to just sit. We had to sit for a little bit and, you know, kind of collect our beings and ourselves before we could, you know, share with y'all. And I think that's something that's also really great about Francesca and I's relationship and being able to share with y'all, is because we want it to be as, you know, as authentic as possible. You know, we did have to rest. Please, oh my god, take time if you need to rest, if you need to, I don't know, I drink a lot of tea. Some of y'all are coffee lovers. Y'all nasty.
I'm also a tea drinker, so
yeah, just kidding.
I'm in agreement.
Still love you, but y'all nasty. And it's just really important to, you know, kind of recognize that need for that, you know, that little woosah
moment with
if
yourself.
You need it. Yeah,
for sure.
For sure.
I think that we can both be honest and agree that we have been in situations like that where someone's super excited about something, or someone's getting recognized and we're like, well, what about me? Or great, like we're so, you know, I'm so excited for you, but you're really low-key a little upset, or you wish that you could be in their shoes at that moment. My question for you and for all of you would be, what helps you in that moment? Like, do you have a conversation with yourself, or what do you do to kind of get past that and grow from that moment?
Yeah, I think personally you have to take it in stride. One, I think you have to give not only grace to the other person, you got to give a little bit of grace with yourself. As an artist and just as a being, I'm really like self-critical of how I am doing, task-wise, art-wise, business-wise. If someone does, it's real life. If someone else does get recognition or something that possibly a lot of the times for me, it's something that I've already done or I do every day, and it becomes just seen through a different lens of another person. And at some points in life, other people get recognition for stuff you already do. And I had to learn, that's perfectly fine. Some people, they find a system or something that works for them. And if they get recognition, like for me, I had to realize, well, at least it's being done. At least there's, I don't know, kind of a positive step towards that type of atmosphere. Because I try and think of as a collective. Because I know I'm not the only person, minus my art making. I'm the only person that's necessarily being in front of that lens. There's other people, like with our YouTube, there's another person to think about when I'm just like in that moment. Fran be coming up with all the jokes, all the good stuff. She put me in that meme today. All the stuff that, I necessarily don't think about. And for that, in terms of that, she deserves all the recognition for that. Like, I would never have thought of that. Like, that face mask into my eye, I didn't think it was funny. But
I thought it was hilarious. I needed to benefit off of that in some way.
But, sometimes that recognition, like, you just gotta have a laugh with it. Like, and honestly, just wrap that little negativity ball, crumple it up, play with it for a few seconds, throw it up in the air, and then just bounce that thing out of space. The feeling goes away, and it can be hurtful if it's a longer period of time for it. But I think if it ever like really gets to that point, especially with myself, I'm just like, dang, like why is this actually like why am I front right now? Like why does this actually affect me so much that I'm gonna like be upset that this is about my recognition. You know what I mean? Like, I really, for myself, need to move through all of those points and get down to the nitty gritty. Because what if it's like, I don't know, I'd be getting mad over a stupid mess. But if it gets to a point where it's like true recognition, like someone, say, takes control over my art, like that's something that's serious. Don't do it. Pay your artists and photographers. Just saying.
I wouldn't mess with her.
I'll get you. But stuff like that, if it's as little as I don't really know. I'm not in a traditional working environment. Maybe you can speak on that, like working with actual coworkers. I don't do that very often. But things like office wise, I don't know. Do you have anything to touch on that? I think it's just about you got to recognize it before you I don't know necessarily like jump down someone's throat for.
A couple things I have to say.
Being crazy.
We'll start from the beginning. So, I love your process, and I think that everybody has a different process, and that's the beauty of it, right? That's the beauty of life. And when I find myself getting a little jealous or a little annoyed that I'm not getting that recognition, I think, you know what? This is this person's contribution to the world. It's their contribution in the form of their personality, in the form of their gifts, in the form of what they've worked hard for, in the form of all their experiences in one moment. And I tell myself, there's really no need to be jealous about that because just as they have their own contribution, so do I. And they're not above each other. They're equal. And that's really what helps me get through. And I'm also like, don't be like that, Francesca. Come on. Like, this person deserves this. Just as you deserved your last moment, just like you will deserve your next moment. It's not worth trying to steal someone's moment. Just let it be. I think that we want to control things all the time, and that gets in the way of what should be natural about life, right? The natural gifts of life. As far as the work world, I do work in a very traditional office setting, and you don't get thank you for every single thing, but I will say that I enjoy being a part of a team. I enjoy being a person that fills in the blanks where those blanks need to be filled, right? Not everybody can do everything when you're working with multiple people. You can't sit down and tell someone, I'm so grateful for you every day, because you have things to do. You're busy, and it's not something that's on the forefront of your mind every day. But that's the joy of being a part of a team, because we all kind of fill in the blanks, and we understand, because I think we have a great understanding that we just need to be here for each other, and we need to support each other. And there is a day, a time, a moment for that recognition. But right now, we need to work on a common goal and get our stuff done. So that's what we do. And, I think that transfers to life too. We all have a goal in life. And most of our goals line up with inner happiness, really being happy with ourselves and understanding other people better while we understand ourselves. So
yeah, that's actually a really good point. That I think that's something that's really healthy, that being out of a traditional working environment for like many years now. I'm a self-employed woman. I work sometimes, I work sometimes with a team, but most of my jobs outside of the food industry, I've been by myself. So I think that a lot of times, especially if you are an independent person and whatever your craft, your business, whatever you're doing, you don't necessarily get that moment in time to be like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, if it's to another person or if it's even to yourself. You're just sometimes like, I got to get this mess done. I have a deadline here. For me, I would go crazy, but I'd be like, I need to move this and have this here and all this stuff. Like, there's so many facets to have to, kind of adapt to. And I think that's something that you brought up that's really helpful, is that there's always a time and a place. And it's also important to recognize, especially if you're in a larger group, that you all did something. Like, it can be minute, but at the end of the process, like, it needed to be done, and whoever picked up that slack, snaps to you, friend, because we all have a role to play, whether or not we like it. Everyone has their own strengths. Everyone can play up, play down. There's all types of things that have to be done in a communal way for some things to really be able to thrive. I definitely agree with hearing that perspective, being in a team, and how important it is. Yeah,
and honestly, don't beat yourself up about it, because every person has those thoughts. We're human beings. We make mistakes every day. Instead of furthering that thinking pattern, I challenge us and I challenge you to just practice humility and see the perspectives that are involved in the situation. See everybody's side. Understand what everyone feels. Understand what you felt when you finally reached that accomplishment, or you finally got recognition for something that you're really good at. Maybe you never even had to practice. It was just something that just came so naturally to you. I think that we can really learn from life, and we need to just take every moment as a lesson.
Yeah, I love that. Well, y'all, just let us know what you think. What are your actions that you're going to take towards humility and being humble this week. We hope that you check out our last video, which went live today. And we'll see you on the next video. Bye!